Now, the one team that we didn't talk about was Dartmouth, and probably the less said about their season this year, the better. It's just one of those
they're struggling.
Completely lost years, but
I think it's. I mean, people hate to say rebuilding, but it really is. I mean,
sure.
Rick White is playing a lot of sophomores out there, and it's going to be one of those years that they take their lumps, and then next year, the year after, they got 7 wins or maybe 8 wins.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you have to have these downtimes after you graduate all those great kids.
Well, I mean, to me though, I know that it's tough for the parents, of kids on the team, but it's almost going to be as exciting for Dartmouth High football fans watching what Jordan Todman is doing at UConn. That's almost got to be.
Yeah.
It really makes up for the tough season because, I mean, just last week against Cincinnati, national television, he comes out, he runs for over 150 yards, 4 touchdowns, and really he's playing himself into the national consciousness. He's in the top 20 now with touchdowns, top 40 for yards. I read one thing where an NFL scouting service had him in the top 10 running backs of his class, and that's now while he's sharing time at the running back position. So, it would be pretty exciting to see the possibility of him. He could play in the NFL.
I definitely think so.
And that, you can't replace, if you've got a kid who's good enough to play in the NFL playing for your high school team, it's not easy to replace him, although they did it for a year. Now, the other kid, Arthur Lynch, who's playing for Georgia, he just had his first 2 catches. They play. I want to say it was Tennessee Tech that they played, which is, I think that they're a little better than Voc Tech, but they're not a strong opponent for Georgia.
They get to keep their logo. Though.
They get to keep their logo. But Lynch got his first 2 catches, and it doesn't sound like a lot, but if you can get stats in the SEC, which is the toughest conference in college football, as a freshman, I mean, we're not going to have it. Let's put it this way: we're not going to have a team around here that had 2 kids playing as teammates that played Division I football at that level. We're not going to have that for a long time. So, boy,
and I talked to Arthur over the summer, and he said that any catches that he gets is gravy because he was being brought in as a blocker, mainly. So for him to have 2, I mean, that's probably even more than he expected to have.
And he's had a little bit of an up and down season. There was one game we watched early in the season where they're right at the goal line, and here comes Lynch out of his set early, and they had to be backed up 5 yards, and he comes off the field. So actually, there was a funny thing. During this game, one of their top receivers scored a touchdown. So he comes trotting over to the sidelines, and apparently Lynch got so excited about celebrating with him and congratulating him that he opened up a cut on the guy's eye that needed 3 stitches. So the player didn't out Artie Lynch on that, but
you just did.
Inside sources said that it was, hey, you got to make an impact somehow.